Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast, post Richmond edition. Why not? We're pleased to be joined by someone that was actually at the track today, the one, the only Nathan Solomon from the Podium Finish. And that is the podiumfinish.net, where you can find all of his content, or you can follow him on Twitter at nsoli02 for all the interviews that he did today, which is all on his Twitter page. How's it going, buddy?
Going good. It's a long day. I haven't been on the channel in a while, so I guess no fitting way or no better way to come back than with a little review of the Xfinity race I just covered.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Well, first, before we get to the Xfinity race, I just actually thought about this. You've covered races for a different company, but this is your first race covering for Rob and the Podium Finish. And I know you were at the modified race Friday. You were at the Xfinity race Saturday. Overall, what was it like? What was it like going out there and representing, reaching the top of the podium?
No, it was good so far. The modified race was fun on Friday night. Kind of boring start to the Xfinity race, but the ending was fantastic. I was at the LA Clash in February, but I wasn't there to cover it. I was there as a fan just because of the circumstances of Radio Row, Super Bowl, when we kind of heard our confirmation from the school and everything. I didn't have enough time to figure out credentials there. So yeah, this is my first race covering for the Podium Finish, my third NASCAR race I've covered now, or third NASCAR weekend that I'm covering. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Did some one-on-one interviews Friday and today in the Xfinity garage. So you got people have to look out for some features on those. I'm not gonna spoil any, but one of the stories is on is about a storyline driver from Saturday, and that's my number one story from this weekend. So definitely be on the lookout from that. Spent time obviously in the Cup bullpens. Today I'll probably have some stories there. So some smaller sidebars and obviously a lot of Twitter content and interview content from those. So definitely getting a lot of stuff from this weekend. So excited to get some of it all up on TPF.
Of course, you can check that out once again on the podiumfinish.net. Yes, Rob, we just free advertised, so there you go. But let's talk about the Xfinity race today. And if you watched it, it wasn't the best, but certainly the ending was talked about, controversial. Ty Gibbs won. That should be no surprise to anybody. But it's how he won that's getting a lot of topic of conversation. The benefit is one side of it, it is short track racing. It is the last lap. It is something. Yes, the two drivers, of course, Ty Gibbs and John Hunter Nemechek, for people that haven't watched, were battling for most of the race, and John Hunter actually was leading, and then Ty passed him back on the last lap and kind of somewhat moved him, and then got the win. And John Hunter wasn't too happy about it. But then again, it is short track racing. It is in there and all that. But Nathan, you were there. And you got a chance to talk to John Hunter. Well, the media did. What was that? What was all that like? Give me your take on the finish, and then kind of take us inside post race after with the drivers you got to talk to.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, kind of what you're saying is pretty uneventful Xfinity race. Up until that last, I guess, 30 laps or so. We only had one caution that wasn't a stage caution, and it wasn't even for a crash. It was I think Noah Gragson dropped the brake rotor because he was having brake issues all day. I think only 30 or 40 laps in. I mean, his brake pedal basically went to the floor, and kind of had to baby it around to get through the end of stage one, and then pit at the end of stage one. Lost track position, had a couple of pit road penalties that kind of compounded everything. And he wasn't the same after that. He ended up going a lap down at one point, got the free pass. I think he did finish on the lead lap. So not a great day for him, but otherwise the race stayed green, minus the stage cautions. And I was really surprised about that. I know Richmond isn't known anymore to really have a whole lot of incidents, but these Xfinity cars are really tough to drive. And I mean, we've seen kind of like, to put it in better, well, to say it bluntly, or they've kind of turned into wreck fest at some points. I mean, like you look at Auto Club, some of these other races, like crashes, cautions breed cautions, and we just didn't see any cautions at all really on today. So it didn't really create much of an exciting race, but we had two dominant cars and their teammates, Ty Gibbs, who won every session today, fastest in practice, won the pole, won the race, and led, probably 100, and I'm not looking at the stat sheet, but probably like close to 180 laps. Him and John Hunter Nemechek were the two dominant cars. Ty Gibbs was clearly faster than John Hunter, but John Hunter wasn't far behind Ty. And Ty really led he led the whole first stage. I believe John Hunter led for a good part of the second stage. I think he led at the end of the first stage, led for a good part of the second stage, and then Gibbs took the lead back there and won the second stage and led for the third stage. But in the third stage, Gibbs kind of had about a half a second lead over John Hunter. And with like 25 laps to go, Ty kind of caught some lap traffic there. And that gap really narrowed. And every time Ty kind of pulled ahead by maybe 2 or 3 tenths of a second, he'd kind of catch that lap traffic again, and that gap would start to close. So that was how John Hunter was able to really stick with him. Otherwise, I think Ty probably would have won the race by a second and a half, assuming that race had stayed green. But John Hunter wasn't within striking distance. Excuse me. I think with about 3 laps to go, John Hunter got by Ty Gibbs. And then Ty fought back in the last lap. He moved John Hunter out of the way a couple of times, and he beat him to the line. It kind of did look a lot like Carl Edwards and Kyle Busch beating and banging in 2016 at that track, where Carl came out on top. And I'm trying to remember that. I believe that. Well, that doesn't matter, but yeah, I mean, it was a really entertaining finish. John Hunter was obviously not happy that Ty moved him, and understandably so. Both are kind of racing with nothing to lose. Ty's already in the playoffs with before that 2 wins, now 3 wins. John Hunter's not racing for Xfinity points. He can't race for the dash for cash, which Sam Mayer won today. Passing AJ Allmendinger late, but two great race car drivers. Obviously, teammates makes it more interesting, and it is kind of weird. I mean, I'm not saying there's any sort of correlation, but it's kind of weird that John Hunter's been kind of tied up in teammate ordeals now. Really a couple times, twice in 3 weeks, once in the Truck Series at Atlanta, and then now in the Xfinity Series. And, one was maybe more so his fault than the other. But it was kind of on the other end of it today. And understandably, I think he has every right to be upset, but you can't blame Ty Gibbs either, because he's trying to win a race, and you got to do what you got to do to win a race. Ty Gibbs didn't junk him. He didn't put him in the fence. Ty did what he had to do to win the race, and he won the race.
Yeah.
And they both said that they're going to talk about it Monday. They're going to get it figured out. But until then, I'm sure there's going to be tensions about it. And, it'll be interesting seeing what those meetings are like in the shop on Monday. Oh, to be a fly on the wall.
Yes, I was just about to say that. By the way, Ty Gibbs led 114 laps today. John Hunter led 135 laps today. Just so you know. Because I know you asked about that, so I figured I'd look it up.
Yeah, I forgot the exact numbers, but those two led all but I think 2 laps.
Actually 1. Josh Berry led that.
1. I forgot if Josh led 1 lap or 2 laps. So
yeah.
1 lap.
Also, out of note, Sam Mayer took the $100,000 in the Xfinity Dash for Cash, as he was pretty excited about that. Of course, he'll be in the Dash for Cash next week, along with Ty Gibbs, AJ Allmendinger, and Riley Herbst. So those 4 drivers will be going at it at Martinsville next week. So let's talk about your experiences out on pit road, out on all the things that you got to do today. I know you kind of mentioned it earlier, but what was it just like to be out there? Because this is your first time. I'm not sure if you've been to Richmond. This is your first race covering it. But what were your first impressions when you went in there?
I'm on mute. Um, this is my first time at Richmond. So far I've really enjoyed it. Richmond's a great facility, very nice media center, very nice racetrack. So I've enjoyed it a lot. I'd only been to Watkins Glen and Pocono before yesterday. So it was cool to kind of come down south here a little bit and cover this race. And I was really itching for some NASCAR. So that's definitely some of the reason why I went on this long drive to go cover this race. And of course to get some great content too. So I really enjoyed it. In the future, at least while I'm still a student and I'm not, I don't have a job in NASCAR, I certainly can't afford to do these trips all the time where I'm driving to, where I'm driving 7 hours to cover a race. But I really enjoyed it. I think it's something I could probably at least do maybe once a year. But I think that this is definitely a place where I definitely come back to watch a race. But I've been putting in the miles this week though. I was in New York on Tuesday, went back to school, and then I drove 7 hours down here
Done for the
though.
week,
So
of course, covering the NIT for of course St. Bonaventure, of course, you're part of the WSBU. Of course, you went out there and actually freaking met Josh Allen, of course, the
yeah.
quarterback of the Bills.
But the only thing is about Richmond is I'm in enemy territory
That's
for
true. You're in
months.
VCU territory.
There's VCU stuff plastered all around the track.
Mm. Did you have to bite your tongue when you went in there?
No, it's okay though because I wore my St. Bonaventure polo today in the media center. So
I'm sure everybody got a kick out of that. But of course, going into that place and just interacting with other media members, other drivers. There's nothing like being at the track and talking to people. But who is the most exciting person you talked to
today or all weekend?
all weekend? Let's just do that.
I guess I'll spill the beans on one interview. On Friday I had a great chat with Ryan Vargas. Super nice guy, great story. I think that was probably my favorite interaction this week. I obviously had talked to like the whole Cup field today, and I got some good mini interviews out of it. But I really enjoyed talking with Ryan, and I'm excited to be able to write about kind of his story into the Xfinity series and how he kind of broke through with this ride and kind of why he believes he was never supposed to be here in the first place.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting story. Of course, I've known Ryan for a long time and covered him when he was in the NASCAR Next program. So good kid. Of course, he's been on this channel a lot and probably will be on it again. So of course, stay tuned for that. I know you got a couple other pieces that I won't tell you about, and you actually have an interview tomorrow with somebody. So that's watch out for that. But let's talk about tomorrow's Cup race, the Toyota Owners 400. And awkwardly enough, a Toyota won today, so that's probably good for the sponsor. But the Toyota Owners 400, Ryan Blaney will be on the pole for tomorrow. You got a chance to watch a little bit of practice before as you wandered around the Cup, wandered around the garage trying to get interviews. What from the track, what do you notice out there?
What I'm noticing is even though it's a Toyota is the name of the race. The manufacturer to look out for tomorrow, I believe, is going to be Ford. Chevrolet, they weren't really that strong in practice. Hendrick in particular, Chase Elliott talking to him after his run, he was off. Kyle Larson was way off in practice and qualifying. I think Larson probably qualified 20th. He really did not have a good run. Bowman didn't have a great qualifying run. The Hendrick guys seem to be a little bit off right now. The Toyotas seem a little bit off as well. Obviously, there's only 6 of them, so they don't really have strength in numbers. But I'm kind of looking towards a Penske victory this week or on Sunday. Blaney's been fast. Harrison Burton showed some speed this week. Logano's pretty quick too. So I think I'm kind of looking towards maybe a Joey Logano or a Ryan Blaney victory because I think those two guys they've been pretty quick so far.
Yeah, it's going to be good even though you picked a Toyota driver to win. So,
I know. I did pick a Toyota driver because Martin Truex Jr. is very good there.
And of course, he won at Richmond in the last time we were there. So,
And I think of the Toyota drivers, he probably did have the most speed.
yeah.
So I wouldn't count him out either. Ross Chastain again was pretty fast. Ross won his qualifying group. Didn't get the pole. I forgot his exact starting position, but he's gonna be towards the front too. So those are guys to
up
look
there
out for.
too. Eric Jones is up there. Yeah. So a lot of good cars up at the front. A lot of names you wouldn't expect up there, but if you've been following and watching, a lot of the names that you would expect that are up there are going to be up there. So that's going to be good. Of course, AJ Allmendinger will be in the Colleague All-Star car. Landon Castle's in the 77. And JJ Ailey will be in the 15 for Rick Ware Racing. And Greg Biffle's back again. He'll be in
Can't forget Greg Biffle.
Yep, the 44 for NY Racing. Of course, he'll be in the back along with Justin Haley from Colleague Racing.
And Bubba Wallace.
Kurt Busch is back there too. And Bubba.
Yeah, Bubba's down a couple guys. He's down his crew chief, and now he's down to someone else. Because remember, his crew chief got suspended for losing the last.
Two of the crew members and his crew chief that are down for that. So
well, and he failed 3 times too.
It's true. So he's gonna.
He's down a bunch of guys.
Oh yeah.
So that's another reason that makes me think that some of the Toyotas could be off because both 2311 guys are down a guy. Bubba's down 3. So if Bubba and Kurt struggle tomorrow, that wouldn't surprise me.
Right. All right. Nathan Solomon from the podium finish will of course be at the track tomorrow for a big day. The Toyota Zone 400. Of course, you can see it at 3:30 on Fox or listen to it on MRN Radio. All right. Of course, you can catch all of Nathan's work on the podiumfinish.net and, of course, following on his Twitter at nsally02. All right. Nathan, thanks for joining us. And, of course, we'll talk to you whenever a video is. We'll see you in the next video.